Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Please don't forget to subscribe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you once again for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And like always, if you want to see something in the show or you have a bright idea that you want to see us implement on the show, drop them in those comments below or hit us on any one of our social media outlets. Holler at us, we holler back. But we got a fun, packed show for you guys here tonight. And we're going to jump right back on that topic that we were on the last night, Monday, 7 p.m. about boxing. We've been getting a lot of comments. Been getting a lot of flack coming back because some people didn't agree. And that's okay, people. That's okay. Us as fans, we all have different degrees of how much we like different stars in this boxing realm. But before we get into all that, let me introduce you to my co-host, and he goes by the name of Mr. Steven Rubain. How you doing, sir?
Feeling much better today. Can breathe a little better. The cough is a little better. Took in a whole lot of sports these last couple of days. So I got a lot to talk about. So
people been on my case, Steve.
As they should.
They've been on my case.
I'm glad people finally starting to come around.
Oh my goodness!
It's good to see that some people understand. Yeah, it's good that some people understand what a GOAT really is.
No, I don't think they do.
Well, we'll get to that towards the end of the show. I don't want to give it too much.
Off. They don't understand what it really means. It's kind of like, the stop sign. Some people stop at the stop sign. Some people drive over the line. Some people stop way back. But the book said stop at the line.
I agree with you on that. But the point is that there's only one rule to the stop sign, is that when you hit a stop sign, you're supposed to stop.
Exactly.
So if you're doing anything else but stopping, you're not following the rules.
Yes. But the point I put in there is everybody stops, but the rule is stop at the line, not stop 5 feet behind the line, not stop over the line. But if they listen to what you said, long as they stop, no, it's not long as you stop. No. There's rules to it. You have to stop behind the line, directly behind the line, not 5 feet, not over the line. No California road where you drive and you pause and you keep going. But that's when we talk about GOAT. That's the thing that, opinion and fact. Mm-hmm. Opinion and fact.
I'm glad you said that. Opinion and fact, because we're gonna get to that tonight. Because I'm gonna make it a little more clear for you, because I think you're too overwhelmed with the whole idea of undefeated. That is like your big catchphrase. If something's undefeated in your eyes, that just makes it great. But sometimes undefeated can be kind of confusing, but we'll get to that. Let's hold off on that. I don't want to get too much of that now.
That's a new one to me. I can't wait to get into it.
Because we're going to. But let's start off first of all with this World Cup, because this World Cup is still heating up.
Man, it's juicy.
And I mean, soccer is something I played as a kid. It's something that I can enjoy watching at times. I really not much into club soccer, but when it comes to the World Cup and playing for your country, I think it gives an extra spin to it. So I enjoy watching these games with country versus country, because you can just tell it means a lot more.
The pride behind it.
Yeah, the drive behind it. So today we had two big matchups today. There were 6 games, but we're going to focus on the 2 big ones. So our neighbor to the north, Canada, lost to Switzerland 2-1. So that gave Switzerland Group B. So Canada is going to get in as a second place team. So the big news with that is that now Canada, instead of playing in Canada the next round, they got to play in Los Angeles. So the Canadians aren't too happy about that, losing their home field advantage. So that was the first big one. And then the second big one today, Brazil put hands on Haiti. Brazil is going to be the winner of Group C.
Right.
And so we got now talking about the teams that are so far already qualified for this 32. I'm going to name them off by group. In Group A, Mexico. Group B, I mentioned already, Switzerland and Canada. Group
You
C,
know what? Say the first group again. I was slow on the button. Say it again.
You were slow on the button. Group A is Mexico. Then Group C, we have Brazil and Morocco. Group D, we have the good old US of A. Group E, we have my favorite, Germany. Group I, we have France and Norway. Group J, we have Argentina. And then last but not least,
you saw how slow I was right there again?
I know, I was going to say, you don't like Argentina? And then Group K, our last one, we have Colombia. So in these next couple days,
I didn't hear you say anything about England. What happened? What was going on?
Good, because tomorrow England is in a game where they have to, at minimum, I think, tie.
Okay.
So I think a loss can knock them out, but they have to at least get a tie or a win.
They'll be all right.
So they're not officially in yet.
That'd be
good
all
question though. Yeah. So England still has to play tomorrow to get in. So we still got 2 more days. I think two. Actually, I think it's 3 more days of qualifiers to get these down to this 32.
Right.
And then starting next week, we're going to start the knockout rounds where it's winner take all.
Oh,
that's when it gets exciting, because that's when no more ties. We'll get to the penalty kicks to win the game, because
put up or
now you have to win. So that's when it gets good. You know, there's no more pressure than when you're the last person to make a penalty kick to win it for your country. You want to talk about pressure,
man? Because the quiet thing about these types of deals is that these countries don't want to see anything to make them look less than, and there's been some pretty bad stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So we don't want to see any of that. We want good sportsmanship, and we want people. This is good fun. This is good fun, but because some of the spectators, they take this like live and die. You know, like this means a whole lot to them, and sometimes families get threatened, things happen. So
we've had. I mean, if you go back to the 90s, we had in Colombia a player get killed.
Wow.
For losing the game for you. Remember back in 94 with the player for Colombia who kicked the wrong way goal.
Wow.
And 2 days later, him and his girlfriend were killed going to a club in Colombia. So I mean, we can vouch for the fact that it's life and death.
Yeah.
Some of these games. And so yeah.
And I have to be one to speak out, because I love sports. I love the camaraderie. I love the rah-rah. I also love the mano a mano, and I love talking smack to people who are not the same fans as me. But it's not that deep to take away somebody's livelihood or their life. My goodness, what? Come on, people. Let's be real about it. Let's be real. It's serious.
Right.
It shouldn't be life-threatening serious.
But then that also goes to that other topic that we are going to go into real depth about, and that is gambling and sports. Because in that particular situation, you're talking about mafia, drug dealing, and betting. And so somebody lost a lot of money on Colombia that day, and they decided to take it out with his life. But we're gonna have a whole series on that. We're gonna get to depth about, because I'm going to say billions. I'm going to say definitely multi-millions of dollars are being bet on this World Cup. We know this.
Yes.
And so when you're talking about teams that are being bet on, players are really under the gun. I mean, the big name players especially.
But let's keep it 100%. If you gamble responsibly. And guess what? When you gamble, you is taking the risk. Not us, not the players. You.
I agree.
It,
I
it,
I agree 100%. But
what more to say to it?
we all know people
You.
don't hold accountability for themselves. So, but we're gonna get you like next week, guys. We come on Monday. We should have the whole 32 set up, and we're gonna go over those teams, and then we're gonna reevaluate our picks to see if we're gonna stick with who we chose in the first round as our favorites. But you want to get right into this NBA draft because
Let's
the
go.
NBA draft has been a great 2-day event. And right now, as we speak, they're having the second round of the NBA draft taking place. But we want to go over this first round and get your opinions on.
Let's keep it to the juicy parts.
Yeah,
Let's just do the first 10, Steve.
let's do the
Unless
first
you want
10.
to do the all the teams, but I think the first 10 is the most important.
Absolutely. So let's start with that number one pick, AJ DeBansa. There was a little bit of controversy or worry that he wouldn't go number one. Ultimately, the Wizards, and we're going to get into the Wizards because they have an interesting squad coming back next year. If they can keep Anthony Davis and Trae Young, and with the young players they have now, Alex Sarr and this DeBansa.
You being nice, Steve. It's the Wizards.
It was the Wizards. I mean, and that's going to always be the until they're not the Wizards anymore, we're going to consider them to be the Wizards. And I mean, if I'm Anthony Davis and I want to try to save my legacy, I hope he's going to go out there because if he can lead the Wizards to the NBA Finals, all of a sudden now he's back to being that first ballot Hall of Famer that he probably should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
So that this is his legacy because right now, what do we call him? Street clothes.
Yeah.
And he's more known for being on the sidelines.
Out of that name. I think that name will stick with him throughout.
Well, he has to change the narrative.
It is a perfect name for him, and it is what it is.
It is what it is. But he can change. He can change. If he leads the Wizards to the NBA Finals, he can change that narrative because nobody expects the Wizards to do anything. So
I wonder how does it feel to be the number one draft pick and go to the Washington Wizards. What does that player what goes through his mind? Does he think, well, at least I've made it. The money is going to be right. Because is there any hope if you go to honestly, now keep it real with me, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
With what we've seen from the Washington Wizards all this time, a number one draft pick as big as huge as this young man is, does he have any hope of a championship with the Washington Wizards?
The easy answer is no. The more difficult answer would be we have to wait and see. I mean, back in 2003, LeBron James was drafted number one by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and at that time, nobody thought the Cavaliers would ever have a chance to win a championship.
I like how you brought that up.
I'm just telling you. At the time, Cleveland was an organization that was considered to be a loser organization until he went there, and it took him, 13 years, but he got to Cleveland
to leave.
Well, he left, but he
come back.
But he came back and got the story done. He completed his story. So, I mean, we got to give this guy a chance. Maybe this guy could be the one to lead Washington to glory.
All young guys, I wish them the best. I guess I'm being devil's advocate because of the caliber of the team. It's kind of like the Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers. Let's keep it real. The Clippers have had some squads. They've had some squads and just can't get right. Just can't get right.
Yeah, you're right. But we're gonna get to that. But that's the number one pick. You want to go over number two? Who was the number two pick in it?
Darren Peterson, Utah Jazz.
Now that's an interesting pick. People think that he probably is the best player in the draft, but with him, he had an injury concern coming out of college, and so the question is going to be, will he stand up and prove himself to be that number one player, or will he go the other route? Number 3, let's go back to round 1. Cameron Boozer, big center for Duke, went to the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, with him, he could turn out to be the best player depending on circumstances.
Is he related to the other Boozer?
Yes, he is.
Oh.
He's the son of Carlos Boozer, who we remember from his days in the NBA.
Oh.
And also has a twin brother who's still playing at Duke. So it's all in the family.
He's considered a legacy, right?
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah. I always like when it comes full circle where a dad gets in there and he does his thing, and then he has an offspring that also is ushered into that great arena of basketball, to where he can do great things. He can overexcel better than his dad did.
Exactly. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Number 4. That's number 3, Memphis. Number 4,
Chicago Bulls.
Who do we got?
Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Wilson, right? Yes, he had a injury-shortened career at North Carolina, and so he's another one, like with our number 2, coming off of major injury, to see how he's going to bounce back.
That's kind of weird for me. To the first 10 picks in any draft are like crucial, and for you to pick people that already have ailments, to me, maybe, they do their due diligence and they talk to the doctors and they've seen them perform before they do these picks.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like, I don't know. Getting damaged goods before in the first round, top 10.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. I mean, a draft as a whole is a crapshoot. You're taking a gamble.
True.
You're hoping that gamble is going to pay off. That's what a draft is. And so,
but when you get a top 10 person, that gamble is supposed to be a little less, right? You're supposed to still be getting such a great talent. Top 10 is like he can play a couple different positions, like how do you feel about that, Steve?
No, I mean, again, your hope is it's all going to come through. There's no guarantees. We've seen many players who were drafted in the top 10 and turn out to be huge busts. I mean, when you look at the Knicks now. Jalen Brunson was a second-round pick, and This is our Finals MVP.
Right.
So think about how many teams slept on him, and he was a national champion at Villanova. They said he was too small.
And I mean, you made him huge because you tried to compare him to Allen Iverson. I remember that.
I did, but it brings up the argument though, and this is the argument: what teams win championships, and so no matter how great the individual player is, if you don't have the team around them, you're not going to go but so far. And Allen Iverson, as great as Allen Iverson was, he never had that number 2. He never had that Scottie Pippen. Right. He never had that Shaq. He never had that Kyrie Irving, or had that Love or AD.
Bad management.
So it's bad management, yeah. I mean, but that is the thing. You got to take all your talent, all the greatness that you have, and then still hope that your team, your management, can put the right players around you to make you a champion.
Yeah, and you would think from year to year that it would become evident what a team needs and what you should do. It's almost second nature. I don't, when certain teams have certain problems for so long, it seems planned and organized that way to me. It's disgusting sometimes. It's really disgusting that they waste a true talent's time. That's the only thing with LeBron. He didn't give a team a chance to waste his time, but that's and also in certain people's eyes, that was the the scale. Why we look at the way we look. I don't want to get off the let's get back to number
we
5.
got number 5. We have for the Clippers, Keaton Wagler from Illinois. They need another guard to match up for the Clippers now, so that's a good pickup for them.
Clippers.
Number 6, we're gonna have the Brooklyn Nets.
Wizards and the Clippers. Moving to number 6, Brooklyn Nets. Mikael Brown Jr.
Number 7, Sacramento Kings have Darius Acuff Jr.
Wait a minute, wait. You said Sacramento Kings. I got Atlanta Hawks. You sure? Number 7, Atlanta Hawks. Darius. Yeah, it's Atlanta. We lost your sound, Steve. We lost your sound. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was saying Acuff Jr., there was a trade where 7 and 8 traded with each other. So Acuff Jr. is going to end up with the Kings, whereas number 8, Kingston Flemings, is going to the Hawks.
Wow.
So this is when it starts getting interesting, because now teams are starting to make trades in order to bolster themselves. Number 9, the Dallas Mavericks drafted Morez Johnson Jr. from Michigan. This is an interesting one because his head coach at Michigan just got the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks. So he drafted his own player in the first round. So that's
makes sense.
Makes total sense to me. If you're going to draft somebody who you know what you're getting. So
last but not least, number 10. I'll let you go ahead and say it, Steve.
All right, the Milwaukee Bucks, the team that made the huge trade this week to move up to number 10, trading away Giannis Antetokounmpo, is drafting Braden Burries, guard for Arizona. So overall, just to summarize real quick, the draft, I think the first round went pretty much as expected. It was pretty dull in the sense of there wasn't any major shake-up trades or anything that was no crazy picks in the first round that somebody like, oh my God, why did they pick him?
Right.
So it was pretty stable for the most part. We're gonna have to wait.
NFL.
Yeah.
Don't try to compare it to the NFL. It's a whole different animal.
Well, the NFL, so now think about it. NFL, you got pretty much 18, 19 positions you're drafting for.
Yeah.
In the NBA, you basically draft, there's only 5 positions. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and center. So
right.
It's pretty simple what you need, and it's pretty simple how to target. Whereas in the NFL, there's so many needs. A team has to look at, well, what needs do we need most? And so sometimes those unglamorous picks, like the offensive lineman,
right,
mean everything. And so the fan base is like, oh, we got so-and-so offensive lineman. But if that offensive lineman becomes an all-pro for 6-7 years, that's a glory pick. So, that's what makes the NFL so much different from basketball, is that, everybody loves the quarterback. Everybody loves the wide receiver. Everybody loves that edge rusher. But sometimes you got to draft that punter. You got to draft that offensive lineman. You got to draft that center,
Right.
And those positions mean just as much as the quarterback or the wide receiver.
Well, let's get into boxing, because I don't want to run out of time. And and like I said, all our social medias have been blowing up with what we talked about on the last show. Boxing. Who is the GOAT? Yes, and last we talked about was
the lighter weight. So lighter weight. Just give a real quick summary of what we talked about on Monday, for those who missed Monday show. So that we talked about the weight classes, and we started with the lighter weights on Monday. And so first of all, we said that we weren't going to talk about the flyweight and bantamweight division, because in American boxing, those are not glamorous boxing division.
Not at all.
Not at all. You got to go to Asia or Latin America for major fights in those divisions.
And we even had people that logged on that were talking to calling them little high school track students and stuff like that.
I mean,
we get it. We understand.
We understand. They're the weight classes that in our in my lifetime, I can never remember a boxing card, a major boxing card, where you had a flyweight or bantamweight fight be the headliner.
Right.
It might be the undercard, but they're not the headliner. And that's because that's not the taste. We love the knockouts. We love the bigger guys.
Yes.
Excitement. So
people want to see people get put to sleep in one punch.
Yes.
And those fights are the fights where you'll see 20,000 punches punched on each side. And it's just like rock'em sock'em robots. So I get it. It's not the same luster. And people want to see blood.
Absolutely. And that's why we said we're going to start with the featherweight division, just because a lot of our great lighter-weight fighters start in the featherweight division. And so we want to recognize the greatness in that division, because while they almost never stay, because the big money fights, as we mentioned earlier, are in the heavier weights.
Right.
A lot of times they do their best work in that featherweight division. And so I mentioned for the featherweight division, I gave the GOAT to Manny Pacquiao because,
yes, sir.
Because as far as I'm concerned, that weight class, remember, he started as a flyweight.
Right.
When he was at featherweight, he had devastating knockout power for that division. And he dominated the time he was a featherweight with like 10 straight title defenses. And so we want to give him the love at that division. Now, as he got into the heavyweights, he was fighting against much bigger guys, and he had some losses. And some people, I won't say names, like to take losses away from guys. But in my eyes, if you fight somebody who is much bigger, stronger than you, and you lose that fight, you got to give them some credit for taking that fight.
Okay.
So, and we'll get to that later on when we get to these heavier weights. Now, for super featherweight, and this was a shocker because people think I had this hatred for Floyd Mayweather Jr. But
you do.
When he was a super featherweight, he had 12. He was 27-0. He had 12 title defenses as a super featherweight. And out of those 12 defenses, 8 of them were either knockouts or stoppages. So that was Mayweather's power division. Now, as he moved up in weight class, while he's continued to still win, he lost that power and he had to win fights by decision. And so for that reason, that's the reason why I gave him super featherweight, was because that was when he was at his natural strength and power.
Mm-hmm.
And so any arguments so far as that goes? Would you agree that?
Well, you know what? When we have this conversation, there's another conversation that needs to be had. And that conversation is, what are we judging the GOAT by? What are the specifications for being a GOAT? Because right now, this conversation is just, who do you consider to be the GOAT? And we're having that talk. We haven't even got there yet. We got to wait for Patrick, me, you, and Patrick to be on so we can cross that line. Because here on Blow the Whistle Sports, it might be different on another show. But here, where it's a fan-driven network, we got to come up with some guidelines ourselves and stick to our guidelines, and then we can judge people accurately and accordingly. Because when you're doing it this way, it's just the popular opinion, and I'm good with that. That's why I want us to do it this way, and then when we put it down the line, put it on paper, and once we agree, all right, this qualification, then we'll be in agreement. But right now it's going to be all over the place. So I want people to keep that in mind.
Okay, but here's where your argument breaks down. Whenever you talk about the greatest of anything, it's always going to be an opinion. There is no criteria for determining an opinion. And when you ever use the word greatest is always going to be a opinion-driven attack. So I mean, that's just the nature of greatest. You can't say greatest anything,
because once you bring minds together, and once we all agree, because you can like something a certain way, but we agree with like, no, in our criteria, we're not going to judge them on that. We're only going to go off of X, Y, and Z. Then you can have some type of
but there'll always be an arguing. No matter if you get 100 people in a room, you can get 99 to agree. There's always going to be one person who's going to disagree. So then it just becomes consensus.
Right.
So we're just talking right now, but we're discussing today. We're just talking a consensus GOAT debate based on weight class.
Right.
Because you can't judge the lighter weights to the heavier weights.
You can't. Not at all.
People love heavyweights more than they love lightweights.
That's the excitement right there. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, a heavyweight title fight is greater than anything that could ever be done in any light class. And we know that from the Muhammad Ali days. We know that from the Mike Tyson days.
Right.
There's nothing greater than a top-notch heavyweight fight. Nothing.
You have no argument there with me.
And so when you look at those weight classes, those are going to be skewered more because people like those fights more.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but it's just like in football, what the ref calls a catch and what people consider a catch. See, when it goes to the letter of what a catch is, regardless if you have an opinion, we only can go of what it is. And once me, you, and Patrick put it in stone, what we think, that we can judge off of that curve. Absolutely. And then if somebody still wants to have an opinion, that means that person is just not going off of the scale that we putting in front of us.
Okay, well that's a fair enough argument. But let's go ahead and get these last ones in before we get these heavier weight classes.
Let's do it.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the lightweight, you can bring up any other name you want to bring up, but Roberto Hands of Stone Duran, who went 72-1 as a lightweight and pretty much dominated the entire 1970s as a lightweight. You can throw any name at me. I will fight to the death to tell you they can't have a better resume than Duran did as a lightweight. Now later on, when Duran moved up into the heavier weight classes, he had some bad knockout losses because he fought against guys out there, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, who were much, much, much bigger than him and physically stronger. Yeah. But he took the money fights. And so we have to keep that in context.
Thing of somebody just taking a fight that they shouldn't take a fight for money purposes, and it's still hurting their legacy, and it doesn't make them a great person because they fought somebody stronger than them. That's
okay. But you didn't listen to what I said. I said the reason why Roberto Duran is 72-1 as a lightweight because that was the weight that he was strongest in.
Right.
After he moved up from lightweight, then the fights that he had after that, and wins or losses or whatever, you can't count that against him being a lightweight fighter. That's the whole point. That's why I'm saying in our GOAT debate, understanding that almost every fighter moves up in weight class because they move up to fight bigger fights. You have to judge it based upon where they were at their strength.
I understand that.
And in the case of Duran,
once me, you, and Patrick, we go in there and we put that as a guideline, I will honor that. But until we do that, boxing, since you get to pick the fights that you want to fight, and the boxing commission sanctions it and says it's okay, that being a smarter person and going down the road where you try to, because the boxing, you're all about your record. You're all about your record. So therefore, you want to protect your record and fight the smart fight. Fight the fight that you should fight, not fight the person like you just said. You took the money fight, and the person was stronger than him. But that's your opinion.
But you just made an inaccurate statement. You just made an inaccurate statement.
No. See,
you're not all about the record.
Once we come up with a guideline, I said again, I will honor that. But when we're going off of opinion, my opinion can never be wrong if it's my opinion. When it's your opinion, it can't be wrong. Now, once we have a guideline, and I said this, like, once we put that up, I'll honor it. But to me, if a person loses a fight because they're navigating wrong, that's on them. Now, I understand you gladiators. I understand Durant. I would take nothing away from him. I do think he's exactly
so Packett,
under
your guidelines, under the guidelines that you're talking about boxing, we should never have a great fight, because the greater fighter, why would he fight somebody else who is a great fighter and risk his record? Under your, this is what you just said. This is your
what I said.
This is your this is your qualification. So you're saying
I'll tell you
Leonard,
what I said.
you're saying Tommy Hearns, you're saying Muhammad Ali were all dumb fighters because they fought guys. They had real fights.
Off of what you said, Duran took some fights where he fought too big of an opponent, higher than his weight class, that he shouldn't have taken.
No,
that was a decision on him. You said that, not me. Now, when fighters, they can pick a fight, stick to a person in your weight class, because I agree with what you said. If he stuck to his weight class, he would be the exact person that you're saying he is. And I'm not taking away from him. I say he is. In that weight class, he's a great. He's a great. Okay, but if he would have stayed in his weight class, I would grade that accordingly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna close it out with this, because you love this whole Floyd Mayweather argument about how, in fact, he went 50-0. He did. And so because he went 50-0, he's the GOAT. Now I'm gonna name you guys. In Mayweather's time, I'm gonna name you 7 champions that Mayweather could have fought but did not fight.
Right.
The first one, Antonio Margarito, a champion who fought everyone during that time period, including Pacquiao, including Mosley, including Cotto. Mayweather dodged him. Call it what you want. Eric Morales. We all know about Eric Morales' punching power, the one-punch knockout he did to Pacquiao.
Right.
Mayweather dodged him.
Right.
He could have fought him. Marco Antonio Barrera, another great one who knocked out Pacquiao. Mayweather dodged him. Sergio Martinez, great welterweight champion. Mayweather dodged him. Timothy Bradley fought Pacquiao. Mayweather dodged him. Costa Zoo, great Australian champion. Mayweather dodged him. Paul Williams, a great champion. Mayweather dodged him. And last but not least, Winky Wright, who was begging Mayweather for a fight. And Mayweather, instead of fighting him, decided to dodge him by moving up in weight because he wanted no part of him. So in your mind, you think that's a great boxer because, hey, I pick and choose who I want to fight. I fight guys who I know aren't going to give me a chance to lose. In my eyes,
that's not in my mind.
It's in your mind.
No, Steve. No. It's nice for you to say it that way, but let me lay it out clear for you. If it's supposed to be that way, all it takes is for the boxing commission to make it so. That's why I have so many hopes for the Dana White new boxing thing that he's putting together where people can't dodge people. See, I'm one of these people where it's like, if it's something that shouldn't happen, it should be outlawed. And then you have no argument for me. Okay. You have no argument for me. But there's been times where in multiple weight classes with different fighters where they said that somebody dodged somebody, and I understand where you're coming from. It makes sense to me, but I'm just saying, boxing commission, let me put this out to you once again. Fix this issue to where we can get the undisputed best in each weight class.
But the only way you could fix it is that you have to have fighters who want. You understand? Boxers are independent contractors.
No, we'll see.
Every boxer.
The only way you can get a fight is if you get sanctioned and if they put money behind the fight.
Exactly.
Now, if they put it in to where you have to fight this ladder to get to this belt, fight this people to end up with this belt. No, they can do that, Steve.
No, they try to do it, but when you're a fighter who's a so-called money fighter, your team, your handlers determine who you're going to fight next. The commissions can only do but so much. If you decide I'm not going to fight somebody, and you got the money behind you, You can sit here and just say, okay, well, forget your belt. I'm going to go on and move on to this other belt.
That's the beautiful thing when somebody's in control of the money. If you think a person is dodging the fight, only put the money up for the fight that you want to see him fight. But if you put the money up for a fight that you're trying to say right now that that he dodged him, he shouldn't be fighting that person. If the money's not there, then they wouldn't fight.
Okay, but the money was the time out. The money was there for Pacquiao for like 5 years.
They want to fight the person where they don't have a choice.
It took 6 years for him to fight Pacquiao. What's that? It took 6 years for him to fight Pacquiao the first time, and the money was there the whole time. He used excuses. He said, "Well, I'm not going to fight him unless he does this testing. I'm not going to fight him unless he does this and that." I mean, and the commissions tried to force him to fight Pacquiao for years, and he refused to.
I understand.
So what you're saying is all great and dandy if the commissions had that power. Well, when it comes to some fighters, they don't have the power.
Because, Steve, if you do something the commission doesn't want you to do, then you just can't get another fight. Then you just can't get another fight.
Yeah,
if they wanted to happen,
what you're saying
make it happen.
But what you're saying is not realistic. You're going to sit here and tell me that the WBA is going to sit here and say,
Steve, it is realistic.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. You're going to sit here and tell me the WBA is going to say, we're not going to let Floyd Mayweather fight in our commission anymore because he won't take our fights. So we're going to let another commission get that money. Come on. What you're saying don't even make sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to you because they haven't done it, Steve.
They've done it all the time.
Dana White.
They've done it all the time.
To make it more clear, Dana White feels the same way I feel, and that's why he's putting something together that's different, but it's going to be fighting where it's set up the way I'm talking about. What's unrealistic to you, that's what he's setting up now.
But how many big name fighters are going to sign up for that boxing commission? Because it's only going to matter if you can get big names to agree to get into that commission. If you can't get the big names in there, then what's it going to do? So that's the challenge that we face in the boxing realm. It's not like the NBA or the NFL where every schedule is set up every year so that everybody plays everybody.
Right.
That would be wonderful if boxing could do the same thing where we could sit here and say the number one guy is going to fight the number two guy in every division. That'd be marvelous.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen.
It doesn't. You're right.
Because in most cases, the number one guy does not want to lose. So he's not going to fight the number two guy because that's going to put him in a position to lose. And that's the fear. And that's why in the history of boxing, very rarely do you see a fight where you have a champion fight a champion to unify the belt. Think about all the champions.
Now what you just explained, I understand the way things have went and the way it's been ran, and that's what makes sense. I understand different ways of thinking seem unreal, but what you just explained, the number one is supposed to fight the number two. And if they don't, that's something wrong within the commission because guess what? Somebody else starts another commission, so they'll backdoor this commission. That's what's wrong with boxing, why boxing has went so far down.
Well, yeah, but
that's the problem.
But it goes back to the point we said. The top guys don't want to fight the top guys because, as you put it, they don't want to risk the chance of losing what they got. So they'd rather take less money to go and fight somebody who they know they have a better chance of winning, and that's what's killed boxing. Back in the glory days of boxing, I say the glory days, I'm talking about the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you had numerous big name fights where champion fought champions because the money was only there.
That's when fighting was fight. That's when we spent all the money to cater a fight at home. To order the fight at home and everybody came over. It was exciting. It was like a Super Bowl every time a new fight came on. It had that type of allure, and boxing has ruined it.
Okay.
I understand that you feel like what I'm saying is unrealistic, but it shouldn't be.
Okay, but
It's common sense.
But let me throw this question at you. Let me throw this question at you real quick. And then, you know, my greatest, of course, is the great Muhammad Ali. We know how I feel about him. We'll get to him when we get to the heavyweights.
Right.
But let me ask, if it's 2026 and you got Muhammad Ali and the way he's able to sell fights, do you think Muhammad Ali would have fought Joe Frazier today? Do you think Muhammad Ali would have fought George Foreman today? In the way boxing is set up in today's, where fighters can get $30-40 million for a fight, do you think he would have fought those guys in today's boxing?
I you know, I'm not going to tarnish his legacy. He's always been a person that seemed like he didn't dodge anybody to me.
But I'm just talking from a human nature perspective. If Muhammad Ali in today's boxing realm would get $30-40 million easy every fight. In today's boxing.
More than that.
Because he sold fights.
Right.
So if his handlers, knowing the money he's going to be getting, he's not going to fight somebody who he has a chance to lose to. He's going to fight lesser fighters and still get $5-10 million a fight, $15 million, but know he can win.
But would that make him wrong or stupid?
Well,
or,
I mean,
what would you rank him? Wrong, smart.
From a boxing fan perspective, it'll make him wrong. But from a common sense, smart perspective, it'll make him a genius.
And that's what's wrong with boxing. I'm glad. So we need this conversation because this is what's wrong with boxing. Boxing, what it used to be, is not what it is, but we still we hunger for it because we remember what it used to be.
Right.
We want that. We want that feeling. We want those goosebumps. We want that expectation, that high expectation. We want it so much that we watch Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul, who was never a fighter, and tried to make sense out of a fake fight.
Well, because of the name. The name is what draw people in. If you don't have Mike Tyson on that card, people wouldn't come out to watch it.
Yeah.
But they come out and watch for the name. Now back in the glory days of fighting, even if a Mike Tyson fought Pickland Thomas, people were going to come out and watch that fight because it was Mike Tyson fighting.
Right.
So whether he fought a cupcake or he fought a Michael Spinks or somebody who was a named champion, those fights were going to sell out no matter what.
Right.
It just came down to the fact of, would Mike Tyson's handlers risk the chance?
Right.
You think Mike Tyson would have fought Buster Douglas if he would have knew he would have lost to him? Hell no. No way in hell would he have scheduled that fight in Japan if he had any idea that he could lose to Buster Douglas.
My thing is this, and I'm gonna always speak for the fan and for the sport, and I understand where other people are coming from. Things need to change. Things have needed to change for a long time, and I'm hoping this Dana White thing is going to wake boxing up. It's going to shake it up so much to where when people start seeing the money and the sponsors go someplace else because you're getting a reasonable, responsible fight, and it makes sense. That's when people start to wake up, because in my vision of a perfect boxing commission is all the IBFs and all the different ones. They have their own bracket to where one person can get on this bracket and that bracket, and they can dominate this bracket, and then this person that beat this person in this bracket can come over to this bracket because of where he ranks and fight the best, and then you can unify belts. It makes it more exciting. And then we have where we'll have a fighter that wants to unify all the belts. Then we'll have where a fighter it'll bring the zest back to it, man.
As a boxing fan, I hope it works out. I just know, understanding the history of boxing, if they can't get money named fighters to join into that promotion, it's only going to go but so far. You got to be able to get name recognition, guys who people are saying, I want to go watch them fight. I'll pay whatever it takes.
But with that being said, a person like me, I'm not going to hold it against a fighter because the commission is letting them do what they're doing. If people are still putting up the money for that fight and they haven't found a way to go around to get the person they want to fight or have a fighter that has a reasonable expectation of winning, then if you don't watch it, they can't get the money for it.
So
If it doesn't make sense, don't watch it. Don't watch it. But if it makes sense and he made that money, it is what it is.
So basically, you're for the killing of the sport. Okay, but when you say that, though, you're basically saying you're for the killing of the sport. You're telling people not to watch boxing matches because the fights are not of the same caliber that they were back.
That's not what I said. 30, what I said was fix boxing, but
how do you fix it? How do you fix it if guys don't want to fight other guys? That's what it ultimately comes down to.
Steve,
guys have to want to fight other guys.
Boxing, if guys don't want to fight the other guy, then why are you giving that person some money?
Because the sport has to survive.
Trust me, there will always be other fighters who will do what it takes, and we can get a quality product. The only way we don't get a quality product is if people don't push for a quality product, and then you get whatever.
Okay, but back at what you're saying, why do people now watch boxing now?
Because of what are we talking about?
Okay, so, but you're going okay, but you're going around your point. Your point is saying we need to have quality fights in order to have people watch the fights. Right. But the point in the last 10 years, name me 5 quality fights. I'm talking about 5 must-see fights in the last 10 years.
I can't do it.
You can't do it. Thank you.
Do it.
Now between 1980 and 1985, I can name you 10.
More than 10.
More than 10.
And before that, it was. We had the series where it was just remarkable. Yeah.
But because the best fought the best, and they had no fear about taking on fighters, even if
it wasn't
going into it. They had a risk of losing.
It wasn't it was because of the money.
It wasn't because of the money.
If they put up the money, honestly, if they put up the money for that fight, that fighter will fight the fight. No. But if you put up a purse and it's not a fight you want to see, and you still and you're saying you're ducking him, you're ducking this one, you're ducking that one, but we'll still put up the same amount of money that you would have got for that's. I didn't ruin it; they did. Okay. But if I got to go off of fighting the way it is, I'm gonna go off of the way it is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna throw one at you because we're gonna move into that welterweight division, and I mentioned about Roberto Duran. He was 72-1 as a lightweight
gladiator.
1979, he said, "I'm going to leave that division that I dominated for 6-7 years to move up to welterweight to fight who was at that time up and coming glory boy, Sugar Ray Leonard."
Right.
He didn't have to do that. He could have stayed in the lightweight division and continued dominating.
Right.
He moved up because he wanted the challenge of fighting in that higher weight class and with the money that came with that.
Yeah.
Okay. He won that fight. Now, he easily could have ducked and dodged at that point, Ray Leonard. He had all the marbles.
Right.
What did he do? He gave Sugar Ray that respect. He said, "Thank you for giving me this fight and this money. I'm going to give you a rematch." And that's the famous No Mas fight.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. When's the last time you've seen 2 fighters have a great, glorious fight and then immediately do a rematch?
I agree with you. But
it never happens now.
This goes across all platforms.
But it started with Mayweather. Mayweather was the one who started that. Whenever Mayweather had a strong fight, the guy's like, "Hey, give me a rematch." Nope, sorry.
Hey, this to me kind of seems like the same argument we have about LeBron.
No,
it is. It's the way he's doing. You're mad at the way he did it, right? because these other people fought these people. I was just holding out, waiting for you to bring the analogy, but you didn't do it. So I'm just easing it in.
Bring it. Okay, bring it.
When people do it a different way, and they succeed, you leave it open for people to be like, "Nah, I don't like the way you did it because these other people did it this way."
Okay, wait, I'm gonna throw this at you. Money fight: Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. Some people argue De La Hoya won that fight.
Right.
Mayweather got the decision. Great for him.
Right.
That is an automatic rematch. What did Mayweather do? Nope. Sorry. Next one. Floyd Mayweather versus
Did they have it in the contract? Didn't they have it in the contract also?
Yes. And Mayweather ducked it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. Sugar Shane Mosley versus Mayweather. Some people argue that Mosley could have won that fight.
It looked like he was going to win that fight.
Exactly. What was that? Did Mayweather go back and give him a rematch?
No.
The third fight.
He almost got his
versus Pacquiao.
He didn't give him a fight. He almost lost.
Exactly. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. To this day, I still think Pacquiao won that first fight. Did he give him a rematch? It's taking how many years now? 14 years?
Steve, I totally get where you're coming from.
So but that's the whole point we're saying about boxing now. The sport's been killed because rather than guys do the right thing and give the public what they want,
right?
Instead, they decide I'm going to do the safe thing and go for the money fights that will only give me a chance to win. And that's what kills boxing.
Arguing that point. I get it.
Man, Hagler versus Hearns, to me, is still the greatest 3 rounds of boxing we've ever seen.
Right.
Those two guys tried to kill each other for 3 rounds.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I get it. What you're saying makes a whole lot of sense. I'm not delusional. I get it.
All right.
But they let them do it.
So
I get it.
Yeah. So let's close because we got to close out this show. Let's get to first of all, this welterweight. And I call it the Sugar Ray division. Older people love Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson went 128-1.
Yes.
I mean, how can you possibly not go with that?
Man.
Now, if you're a modern day, people love Sugar Ray Leonard because of who he fought as a welterweight.
Right.
You talk about the Hearns. I mean, we can just go on and on about the top-notch fights he had as a welterweight.
Yeah, I'm looking at these right now while I'm talking to you. That was
Yeah. I mean, those were legendary fights. And he did more to boost the welterweight division in the 80s and 90s from his fight. So I'm gonna call it the Sugar Ray division. If you're older guy, you like Robinson. If you're a younger guy, you like Leonard. Middleweight. This was a tough one for me.
But you say Sugar Ray, so you just saying both of them?
I say if you're an older fighter, if you're in your 80s, you're probably gonna say Sugar Ray Robinson. If you're in your 40s and 50s, you're going to say Sugar Ray Leonard. How do you choose between the two?
Record, right? Well, not
record. I mean, record-wise, it's definitely Robinson.
You wouldn't pick it that way because if he fought some good people,
he fought everybody.
You'll make him. I get it.
Sugar Ray Robinson fought everybody, anybody and everybody, and I think if you guys remember, I said the trivia question from Monday, and I guess we can answer the trivia question now since we're talking about him.
Yeah, let it out.
Sugar Ray Robinson went 128-1 as a lightweight, losing only one fight against the Raging Bull. Who could tell me the name of the Raging Bull and what? Can anybody think of who the Raging Bull was?
Who can tell you the name of the Raging Bull and what? You said and what?
He was a weight class. He went by the name Raging Bull. If you're
drop them in the comments, if you guys know.
If you're a movie aficionado, you should know this answer.
If you know the answer to this question, we're going to send you a free gift You just gotta make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, to our Instagram, to our Facebook, and to our TikTok, and you automatically qualify. Give them the question again, Steve.
The question is, Sugar Ray Robinson went 128-1 as a welterweight, losing only one fight to a fighter that is now known as the Raging Bull. Can you name who that fighter is?
Drop in the comments and leave it. We will comment on it, and we will get your information if you get it right and send you a prize. And it's only to the first two people. The first two people. No. We're going to do it to the first person. How about that?
First person.
First person to give it the right answer wins a gift from Blow the Whistle Sports.
All right.
Drop them in the comments. Now, let's move on to...
all right, let's go on to middleweight.
Sugar Ray Robinson, Steve. Mm-hmm. That's the go of that to me. Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm going to stick with the old people.
Yeah, like I said, I like Robinson too. I just know that for modern people, they love Sugar Ray Leonard. And they love, he was in that glory day of Hagler, Hearns, Duran, blah, 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 blah. So.
Hey, I was a Hagler person myself. Sugar Ray Leonard was cool, but I like Marvelous. I like Marvelous.
Well, I'm glad you said that because
he is right there with Robinson to me. Even though the record's impeccable when you get to Robinson, sir, impeccable.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you said Marvelous Marvin Hagler because he is my GOAT for the middleweight division. 12 successful title defenses. The fight against Hagler, of course, we mentioned that one. Right. That is just legendary. He also had other great fights in that division, just dominated for about a 5-year period. He was a dominant fighter in the middleweight division. So I got to give that to him.
Right.
Now, super middleweight, this is an interesting one. Here's a name, because you love to talk about undefeated fighters. Joe Calzaghe. He retired 46-0 with 32 knockouts and retired as a unified super middleweight champion for several years with wins over Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr. How can you not give him super middleweight given that track record?
He can have it.
He can have it. Undefeated, wins over 2 Hall of Famers in Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones.
He can have it.
Yes. So now we're down to our 2 big ones. And this is the one that was the most challenging for me. Light heavyweight, cruiserweight. Because old school people like Carlos Monzon. Those who don't know who he is.
87, 3-9.
Yes. 14 successful title defenses. He dominated through that era where everybody fought everybody. He was a dominant throughout like 6-7 year period of the light heavyweight division.
So what was your main malfunction? Who were you putting them against?
Well, I just know in the modern day, people like Holyfield, people like Michael Spinks, I can't give them over Monzon. 14 title defenses is hard to go against, but I can understand the argument for Holyfield. I think Holyfield, if he would have stayed,
wait a minute, Monzon was a middleweight, but
his strength though was in light heavyweight. That's when he was most dominant. So in the light heavyweight division, that's when he dominated.
Okay.
He had 14. He started as middleweight, was a middleweight champion, and then he moved to light heavyweight, where he won 14 title defenses. And
tell me the names you put against him that it was hard for you.
Holyfield and Spinks, because if either one of those 2 fighters would have stayed light heavyweight, they probably would have been better than him. But they both went up to heavyweight and had success as heavyweights, of course, but that was not their natural. They weren't heavyweights. They were light heavyweights fighting as heavyweight. So that's my argument. That's Monzon was a natural middleweight, whereas natural light heavyweight. Whereas
who are you giving it to, Steve? You gotta make up your mind. Who are you giving it to?
I'm giving it to Monzon. I said, but I say I can understand though if people were to say Holyfield, were to say
nah. I'm gonna give it to exactly who you said.
Yeah. Now here's the one that you might have the issue with because I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, this is the most obvious one to me. Heavyweight, you got to give it to the greatest.
Here you go,
Muhammad Ali. I mean, when you're talking about from 1960 when he won the gold medal in the Olympics, when he turned pro, from 1960 all the way up to 1978 when he won the title back from Michael Spinks, his third heavyweight championship. He fought everybody. And when I say he fought everybody, there is nobody on the plate. No, there's not one single fighter that can sit there and say he didn't fight me.
Heavyweight champion.
Heavyweight champion. I mean,
the GOAT of the heavyweight champion.
He fought.
Stephen Rubain is given to Muhammad Ali. 56-5.
Yes. And who were his 5 losses to? Hall of Famer Joe Frazier.
Right.
Hall of Famer Kenny Norton.
True.
A possible, his only one. Now when he got too late, he lost to Leon Spinks. That was a bad fight. He lost to Trevor Berbick. Right. That was a bad fight. He was way too old. And in his last fight, he lost to Larry Holmes, Hall of Famer, in a fight that he never, ever, ever should have taken.
You know who I want to watch fight?
Who's that?
Rocky Marciano.
Yes, 49-0, and he fought everybody. He's another one who, when you look at his resume, he has Hall of Famers up and down on his resume, and went undefeated.
He's only had 6 title defenses.
But that's the thing. It took him forever to get a title defense. They wouldn't give him for whatever reason back then. They would not give him that title defense. They were ducking and dodging him.
I then guess what, Steve? My heart gives this to Muhammad Ali, but my realism, it has to be Rocky Marciano. People ducked this man, Steve.
Yeah, they did.
He's undefeated.
I'll give you that, and I mean, and in terms of the time period, what have you, yeah. But
Rocky Marciano is undefeated, and he only has 6 title defenses. Why? Not because he didn't want to fight people because he was 49-0, but because he was so dangerous, people didn't want to see him.
I agree.
So, to me, wait a minute. To me, I got to give it to Rocky Marciano.
Okay,
Time out.
okay. And you know something? I'm not going to argue that point with you because that is a legitimate argument that go either way. So, I mean,
my heart gives it to Muhammad Ali.
Well, he's the greatest, and like I said, when it comes to longevity, and when it comes to because remember, Marciano also retired young, and so in some ways that was smart, but in other ways, as far as legacy goes,
this heavyweight division is so full of gladiators. These are the people who are in the front runner for me: Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, George Foreman, Joe Louis, Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis, But Lennox record is a little light. It's a little light. That's when money really came into it. So he didn't have to be a gladiator. He did his thing. He got his bread and he moved on.
Right. And he was ducked and dodged. I mean, they ducked and dodged Lewis for much of his career too.
I want people drop in the comments. Let me know. What do you think? Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano? Which one? Which one? Now I know my heart, my respect gives it to the late great Muhammad Ali. But the record speaks for itself. The fear that he put in people's eyes speak for itself. Muhammad Ali is tainted because the military messed him over.
Well, yeah,
They messed him over. They mucked up his record when he would have been greater than what he was.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another point to bring up Ali too. Is that almost 3 years of his prime years, he wasn't able to fight because of the military obligation thing. So I mean, so that also tainted his record.
You guys, let us know what you think. Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano, Blow the Whistle Sports. I want to know what you guys think.
All right, good show. We're still waiting. Like I said, we'll wait till Monday to give us our answer as to a trivia question.
Yeah.
So please, like I said, if you know the answer, put it in the box. We're going to announce it on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and say
the first 2 people who respond with the right answer, 2 people, we're giving out 2 free gifts. First 2 people with the right answer to Steve's question, you know what it is, 2 free gifts. We went over time. Thank you. We'll be back Monday and next Wednesday. Blow the Whistle Sports, 7 p.m., same time. And we got much, much more because we went over boxing. I still want to hear what Patrick says about boxing because it's right now it's in the books for me and Steve. Yeah. But I would love to hear what his opinion is on Monday.
You want to give a teaser for Monday though? On Monday, we're going to get into the NFL GOATs. Ooh. So that's when it's going to heat up.
Well, we're gonna start off with
you think boxing was heated.
The GOAT of QBs. We're gonna start there because we got some of the QBs. QBs, we got to go through wide receivers and we got to do running backs. Yes. Hey, Blow the Whistle Sports. Ain't no other place to be but here. We see y'all. Peace.
Peace.